Eurogamer has reported that Lost Records and Jusant developer Don't Nod is laying off staff. And just one quick look at this image will tell you everything you need to know. Because this person right here, a picture is worth 1,000 words. When I first heard, of course, oh no. Anyway, in Eurogamer's article, they said Lost Records and Jusant developer Don't Nod is laying off staff after Jusant and Banishers Ghosts of New Eden sold well below expectations. Which I don't know about you guys. I never heard of Jusant and Banishers, so much so that I don't even know if this is the name of a game or if that's two different games. That's how little, and I live in this world and I don't even know what these games are. Jusant and Banishers? Ghosts? First off, what even is this title? Who came up with that? Don't Nod, the developer behind Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, Jusant, and the recently announced Aphelion, is laying off staff from its Montreal office because, of course, it's Montreal. Because, of course. Why wouldn't it be Montreal? It's always Montreal. It's always Montreal. The number of impacted staff is undisclosed. Why? What are they afraid of? Reporting that they're falling apart? This wave of layoffs comes from select developers who've been struck by the cuts, who posted about them publicly from LinkedIn. Eurogamer has contacted Don't Nod for comment as to how many staff have been affected, as well as the reasoning for the layoffs. Well, the reasoning I can tell you right now, because their games aren't selling, that would typically be the first giveaway. Senior game and level designer Matthew Tremblay posted, I am saddened to say I was part of yet another wave of layoffs affecting the video game industry. Yes, because these people are, for the most part, largely communists, Marxists. They expect to just get a paycheck for showing up and appearing, that the game doesn't even need to sell. They just need to be there because they think activism is what their job is. Tremblay continues, I'm incredibly proud of what the team at Don't Nod Montreal accomplished with Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, and shipping the game with this level of quality was nothing short of a miracle. Why do they keep saying that, by the way? Why do they always go back to, oh, it was a miracle? That was the same thing with Dragon Age: The Veilguard, with they talking to the developers that got let go and after the game completely fell apart. I'll play this while I go through the article. This is Lost Record, Bloom and Rage. It was nothing short of a miracle given the circumstances. I wish for all others affected by this wave of layoffs to land on their feet quickly, as they are truly exceptional people. Oh yeah, hire the people because they're my friends. Can they make a good game? Well, they can make a game, and we have proof that it shipped. Is it full of woke shit? Well, yeah, but look, they made a game. It exists. Who would buy this? Look at this. What even is this? What we're going for realism. Who plays these kind of games? QA lead Sandra Comier also bid farewell on LinkedIn, writing, unfortunately, I was part of the layoff at Don't Nod Montreal, and today was my last day. And these past 3 years, I've learned a lot as a lead QA, but also as part of the wonderful QA team. I will never stop saying how much I am proud of my colleagues. Last September, a Don't Nod financial report stated Jusant and Banishers Ghost of New Eden failed to meet company expectations, which I would be fascinated to see. It then set its sights on Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, which it stated received a particularly positive reception at Gamescom when played by members of the press. Well, of course it would. This game reinforces their ideology. Of course they're going to say, oh my God, this is what we want. This is what we don't want to play, but we want to push because we're journalists. We don't actually play games. This is perfect. In his report, Don't Nod CEO Oscar Gilbert said, "We're obviously disappointed by our recent performance in an extremely competitive and selective market. Despite an excellent critical reception," which again, when you live in an echo chamber, the critical reception means jack squat. It's what do the gamers want to play? What do they care about? In this report, Don't Nod CEO Oscar Gilbert said, "We're obviously disappointed by the recent performance in an extremely competitive and selective market." You notice every time a game fails, they always go to it's a really competitive market, guys. It's a super competitive market. You know what you don't hear people complaining about? The successful games in the competitive market, because the cream rises to the top and the best games are the ones that are selling. And if you're pushing woke slop out there, nobody wants anything to do with this. Nobody wants to perpetuate propaganda in their playthrough. This is woke slop garbage with bisexual lighting all over the place. But they continue. Despite an excellent critical reception, which what? Hold on. I need to bring this one up real quick. Despite an excellent critical reception, Jusant and Banishers Ghost of New Eden unfortunately did not achieve the commercial results we had hoped for, resulting in a deterioration of our 2024 half-year results and leading us to consider all possible options regarding our roadmap. The following month, Giebert put forward a redundancy plan for the company, which put 69 employees at risk of losing their jobs. In response, developers, it says developers are Don't Nod. I think they meant to say developers at Don't Nod went on strike at the developers' Paris headquarters. So they have a bunch of woke slop developers that are pushing propaganda in games. And when they get pushed back in critical feedback, instead of taking it in and realizing, oh, they should have probably done something differently, they go on strike. And checking out the comment section is real quick here. Rogie One says, "Do we know how Lost Records sold? Google suggests the sales were underwhelming, but Don't Nod got a good chunk of cash from Sony for the PSN Plus deal. They really need to pick up Life is Strange audience, but that was going to be complex when they're both operating under different brands themselves and competing directly with an official sequel." There's a lot of comments here. I think Don't Nod is in a very weird state now. Their queer teen dramas such as Lost Records and the earlier Life is Strange found their audience. However, their more experimental non-queer games, Vampire, Jusant, and the Banishers, destined to be niche. I guess they were in the right place at the right time with their success, but this had a double-edged effect. In my opinion, Don't Nod is now considered to be a queer game company, and any game not fitting into this is destined to fail. And ironically, any game fitting into it is also destined to fail. And with that being said, and before we move on to the next topic, I do want to bring 8-Bit Eric in here. Give me your thoughts on Lost Records, Don't Nod laying off their staff from their Bloom and Rage. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
I'm actually not really familiar with it, but if it's just like everybody else that fucks around and finds out, got lay off. I mean, even Xbox is laying off staff right now. You know, people try to cope and they're like, oh, well, this happens in the industry all the time. I don't know, man. To me, it seems like gaming industry is laying off people a little bit more often than movies and TV. I don't know. To me, it seems like video games.
To that point, though, they're laying off more people and less people are being hired on at other companies. So there is a surplus of developers out there.
And I always feel the video game industry is always the guinea pig as far as like where the other ones go. So if you're laying off people right now and companies are openly saying AI is going to start doing this and AI is going to start doing that, I guarantee you gaming is going to be the first entertainment industry to implement AI across the board. And then the rest are going to see and follow after that.
Yeah. And you know what? I used to be one of those people, and I'll admit it wholeheartedly, that was like, oh, I don't really want AI to take over and take. Dude, the way I've seen the direction of games journalism and
Yeah.
developers in general, they've injected ideology every step along the way on everything. They've lost the plot. It's like, you know what? Bring on the AI overlords at this point, because if we can't figure it out as people, then I'd rather just play the games that don't deal with that shit. Man, it's kind of a scary future. I think you'd agree with me when I say I'm glad we're the age we are right now, because
Oh yeah. I mean, if you really want to look at it, I was talking to somebody about it. Literally every decade since the 2000s has not had its own identity. Like if you watch, like I guess maybe if you watch early 2000s, you'll have like people wearing the bro beads and the highlights and the spiky hair. But if you really want to think about it, what separates the 2000s to the 2010s to the 2020s? It's not. But if you look at the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it's all unique. Like you could look at something and be like, oh, that's 70s. Oh, that's 40s. Oh, that's something from the 1980s. You know, you can't do that with 2010s, except what, showing your phone, what phone you got, what computer you got. You know, that's about it. There's no identity. Like I feel sorry for the kids today because they're going to be like, oh, I was born in 2010. Okay, well, what's your fucking identity? The other day, the D&D guy, the TSR,
that guy,
WFD, he was getting ratioed, and I'm like, bro, I'm Mexican. I'm
I covered your tweet last night. Actually, that was a banger.
I was like, I'm a Trump supporter, and I've never once. My dad was immigration. He did U.S. Air Force, Vietnam vet, immigration. He retired from the Air Force, then retired from immigration. Wow. And never once he was, you know, we're Mexican. He never once told me, you know, son, you're Mexican, and this is why you're getting held down in life. He never told me that. Neither, not even my grandparents on either side. You know, none of them. Nobody in my family, even my uncles, cousins, nobody in my family, and they're not all Republican. They're not all whatever. None of them in my family was ever like,
because they want to encourage and empower and say you got to take care of yourself in this world, and you have
to. And that owns the haters more if you don't acknowledge it. If you're like, yo, I'm Mexican and that's why I'm fucking succeeding. It owns the haters more.
Yep. 100%.